Can the tree of life help us learn from history's events so we don't repeat them? Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas, and welcome to my channel. I do mostly educational videos, and I specialize in the tree of life. And this is the tree of life right here. You can see that it has 10 different circles, which are actually spheres, 10 spheres, numbered 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Then we have a thing here that's called the abyss. And then we have 3, 2, 1, and 0 above the tree. So we have 10 spheres plus the abyss plus the 0. So that is a total of 12 different categories. And those categories generally represent our faculties of consciousness, among other things, but that's kind of how I approach it, as our 12 faculties of consciousness. And then what I've done in addition to that with the tree of life is that I have basically fractalized it. So I've taken the whole tree and I've placed it on each one of the spheres, or each one of the 12 categories. So we have within the 10th sphere, we have like a mini 10th sphere and a mini 9th sphere and a mini 8th sphere and so on. So each one of the 12 faculties has within it 12 mini faculties, which I call fractal faculties. If you'd like to kind of get up on this, just click the link below and I will send you a copy of the annotated version of the 144 fractal faculties. That's 12 by 12. So 144 fractal faculties, or what I would call stages in life, history, cosmology, and spirituality. So those stages are not chronological stages as you might think, but they're really dramatic stages. So each one of those stages represents a certain kind of dramatic situation or scenario that we get into in our lives. And I'm going to do a video here on all 144 of those different fractal faculties. And today's video is going to be on number 30, which is called, Whose Bad Night Was It Anyway? And again, the question that we're asking is how the tree of life can help us learn from history's events so that we do not repeat them. Okay, now when we're talking about fractal faculty number 30, we're right here in the eighth sphere, and we're talking about the fifth fractal within the eighth sphere. Now, just to give you a brief overview of each sphere, the 10th sphere is like our animal consciousness, our survival instinct, our fight or flight instinct. Number 9 is our domestic consciousness. So this is what we pick up from the home in the first years of our lives. We're highly receptive, and we basically just are receptive to our parents or whoever's raising us, and we're very, very receptive, and then we memorize what they do and we imitate what they do. So this is like a mimicry. Same thing at the eighth sphere. This is a mimicry, but it's really like in the public sphere, where this is the domestic sphere, this is the public sphere. So this is what we pick up from our institutions, our schools and our churches, our all the expert opinion out there that kind of tells us what we're supposed to think. And then we believe and we rationalize what they tell us, and we fit into that structure. The seventh sphere is on the opposite side, whereas this is more of a left brain thing. This is more of a right brain thing. And this is for people that have kind of gotten disgruntled with the eighth sphere, with the consensus worldview. They find flaws and they come over here, and this is like a more of a creative endeavor. So this is our creative spark and our inspiration. So then and our sense of pleasure principle. So we propose alternatives through artistic expression or invention uh, to make this better, more or less. And it also, especially through inspiration, it serves as a wedge to get us up into the higher levels of the tree, starting at number 6, which is our free will faculty. So this is our ability to pay attention and to make decisions. Another thing you can think about at 6 is this is really our center. So this is, if you're looking at a map and it says you are here, this is where we are. But we are paying attention, and originally we're paying attention to the spheres down below. And the main aspect is that we need to turn around and pay attention to the upper parts of the tree. This is really moving into now, where this is like moving into the past or the future. This is where our imagination is. So we also imagine into the future. So the 6th sphere, we're trying to really turn around, ignore these faculties down here, and move up toward the top. The 5th sphere here is our sense of justice. So really like it's kind of like the enforcement of the law, and otherwise wouldn't be known as karma. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. As you sow, so shall you reap, and what comes around goes around. And then the 4th sphere is the natural law. So this is the articulation of the law, whereas this is the enforcement of the law. Also here is our universal perspectives, universal law, also universal language, a more deeper language than a specific language. Things like telepathy, just even like smiling, things that we all relate to in language and communication. And then also universal love, which is really like our romantic love, and our friendship loves are down here at 7. Up here is the universal love, which is our ability to love our enemies, and our ability for unconditional love, to give, seeking nothing in return. Here, the abyss is really where our psychic powers are. In particular, this goes down to all, psychokinesis and things like that. But in particular, we're talking about our ability to recognize omens and to act upon omens. Then we have the 3rd sphere, which is, the whole triangle here is our divine faculties. So this is 3, 2, 1. Omnipotence, all-powerful. Omniscience, all-knowing or wisdom. And then omnipresence, or all-present eternally. And then we have a 0 above the tree, which is really kind of like everything that is not part of the universe. So the 0 sphere really kind of represents a negation or nothingness, nothing. Okay, so that's just kind of a short version. Again, if you want a little bit more detail, just click the link below and I'll send you out that free article that will kind of help you get up to speed, and you'll be able to kind of follow along as I go through all 144 of these different stages. But again, we're back at number 30. Whose bad night was it? And this is, again, a 5th fractal of the 8th sphere. So the 8th sphere is like the consensus worldview. It's the institutions. It's the expert opinion. And then the 5th sphere within that has to do with our sense of justice, right and wrong, and also has to do with really like nonviolent resistance. And so those things are what are going to be coming into play at this stage. Whose bad night was it is about how the powers that be use agents who present themselves as experts to undermine our creative resources or creative outlets. So I read in the review that I had a bad night. But pretty please tell me true, exactly whose bad night was it anyway? Just asking for a friend. Who do you think you are? Publishing criticisms of honesty. Honestly? Criticisms of my creativity? Make me a contestant against my will? In a competition where the judge doesn't know our criteria or even care? Is that fair? Telling stories in song, like griots and bards, I speak the truth instead of canards. Ah, the bird song emerging from the avian shadows, distilling the influence of yard, while preserving my own calling card. I play my saxophones hard, but with feeling, square in the tradition, and he dubs it avant-garde? Fancy French facade for faux expertise. For my folkways, he has no regard. Says the music flayed his nervous system to shards. Or did he drink enough brandy for 2 St. Bernards? The music is sober, so my chord progressions he seeks to retard. Too much music coming too fast, and he is hoisted with his own petard. Fake news from the arbitrary arbiter. Ask yourself which of us is the real blowhard. For social control, the judges, the critics' desires are projected onto a creative resource, onto a creative offering with entirely different standards. The critics' criteria: sleek, glossy, comfy and cozy standards projected onto an adventurous creative resource. 'Cause he's got a deadline. He's got to write something. Look at him now, gazing at me from the crowd, while refusing to participate, refusing to expose himself to the music. Gaze condemningly, glare condescendingly, and leave before we even finish. Indignantly offended, complete with histrionics, to type up a column full of style pointers and etiquette lessons from the guy with the bad manners. His attempt to invade and take over the venue before we can affect the status quo, the paradigm, before we can affect it too much. No breaking the boundaries that he just drew, that he just decreed or constructed on our territory. Repeating history's events, like Berlin in 1885, or Tordesillas in 1495. The critics' criteria continue for him: a cushy career and a cover for custodians of cabal culture, a contradiction, an unqualified expert used to control. Good thing I'm not seeking his approval. I diss his criticism. I dismiss his criticism. I piss on his column of egocentric witticisms. I distrust it as complicit, arrogant, and self-serving misses missives that swung and missed. But look, I'd listen if it's another in our biz, another in my field who knows the criteria by heart, not just by the book, and is too aware of all the risks I took to call me a charlatan. Psychoanalyzing me in his notepad, I'm only an it. I'm only another. The arbitrary arbiter, who do you think you are? And whose bad night was it anyway? I rock the boat. He makes me build an ark to save myself. But I must remember, he's only all over me if I'm all over the target. Jazz history's events evidenced white on black crime. Right there in the black and white of the entertainment section or the jazz rag. But that was then, back in the 20th century. Watch out, because history's events don't repeat but rhyme. So the roles might be reversed next time in century 21. Okay, so that is Whose Bad Night Was It? Stage number 30 of the 144 stages of life history, cosmology, and spirituality. And if you'd like an annotated copy of that, please click the link below and I will send it out to you for free. And remember to like, share, and subscribe, and look for me to come out with future stages on the Fractal Faculties. All right, have a nice day.